to myself, where did it go? Maybe it lives somewhere outside the city, and it's waiting there for me. And all I have to do is say the word, and it will come back. It will come back to me. I can't even recall how to ask something as big as that. What are you thinking now? I say nothing. You say there, you're doing it again. How did you get to be my conscience? You know I can't keep doing this. Where did it go? The heat. Silence can be a beautiful thing, but only when it can be broken. With a kind word, with a soft word, with a word. Our love unspoken. Our love lies broken.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to London, Laurie Anderson.
Hi. This evening, I'll be reading from a book I just finished. And since a lot of it is about the future, I'm going to start more or less on the last page and tell you about my grandmother. Now, she was a Southern Baptist holy roller, and she had a very clear idea about the future and of how the world would end.
In fire.
In fire.
Like in Revelations.
Like in Revelations. Now, when I was 10, my grandmother told me the world would end in a year. So I spent the whole year praying and reading the Bible and alienating all my friends and relatives. And finally, the big day came, and absolutely nothing happened. Just another day. Now, my grandmother was a missionary, and she had heard that the largest religion in the world was Buddhism. So she decided to go to Japan to convert Buddhists, to inform them of the end of the world, and to inform them about the end of the world. Now, she didn't speak Japanese, so she tried to convert them with a combination of hand gestures, sign language, and hymns in English. The Japanese had absolutely no idea what she was trying to get at. Now, when she got back to the United States, she was still talking about the end of the world. And I remember the day she died. She was very excited. She was like a small bird perched on the edge of her bed near the window in the hospital, waiting to die. And she was wearing these pink nightgowns and combing her hair so she'd look pretty for the big moment when Christ came to get her. And she wasn't afraid. But then, just at the very last minute, something happened that changed everything. Because suddenly, at the very last minute, she panicked. After a whole life of praying and predicting the end of the world, she panicked. And she panicked because she couldn't decide whether or not to wear a hat. And so when she died, she went into the future in a panic, with absolutely no idea of what would be next. It was the night flight from Houston. Almost perfect visibility. You could see the lights from all the little Texas towns far below. And I was sitting next to a 52-year-old woman who had never been on a plane before. And her son had sent her a ticket and said, "Mom, you've raised 10 kids. It's time you got on a plane." She was sitting in the window seat, staring out. And she kept talking about the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper and pointing. And suddenly, I realized that she thought we were in outer space, looking down at the stars. And I said, "You know, I think those lights down there are the lights from little towns."
They say that heaven is like TV, a perfect little world that doesn't really need you. And everything there is made of light, and the days keep going by. Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. Well, it was one of those days, larger than life, when your friends came to dinner and they stayed the night. And then they cleaned out the refrigerator, they ate everything in sight. And then they stayed up in the living room and they cried all night. Strange angels singing just for me, old stories haunting me. This is nothing like I thought it would be. Well, I was at my photo with the top down, And I looked up and there they were, millions of tiny teardrops, just sort of hanging. And I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. And I said to myself, what next, big sky? Strange angels singing just for me. Their spade of change falls on top of me. Rain falling, falling all over me, all over me. Strange angels singing just for me. Old stories are haunting me. Big changes are coming, here they come. Here they come.
Well, I was down at the Zigzag. That's the Zigzag bar in Green. And everybody was talking at once. And it was getting real shrill. But I've been around the block, but I don't care. I'm on a roll, I'm on a wild ride. 'Cause the moon is full, and look out, baby, I'm at high tide. I've got a beautiful red dress, and you look really good standing beside it. I've got some beautiful new red shoes, they look so fine. I've got 105 fever, and it's high tide. Well, just the other day I won the lottery. I mean, lots of money. I got so excited I ran into my place and I said, "Hey, is anybody home?" Nobody answered, but I guess that's not too weird, since I live alone. I've got a beautiful red dress, and you look really good standing beside it. Girl, we can take you, and if we can, we're gonna fake it. We're gonna save ourselves, save ourselves. We're gonna make it, and if we don't, we're gonna take it. We're gonna save ourselves, save ourselves. Well, they say women shouldn't be the president, 'cause they go crazy from time to time. Well, push my button, baby, here I come. Yeah, look out. I'm at high tide. Beautiful red dress, and you look really good standing beside me. I've got a little jungle rich
to say something. You know, for every dollar a man makes, a woman makes 63 cents. Now, 50 years ago, that was 62 cents. So, with that kind of luck, it'll be the year 3888 before we make a buck. But hey, girls,
We can take it, and if we can, we're gonna fake it. We're gonna save us,
yeah, tell it to the judge.
we're gonna make it. And if we don't, we're gonna take it. We're gonna save us,
We've got
feel it on the fire. Oh, it's good.
look out, baby. It's high tide. Well, I could just go on and on and on. But tonight, I've got a headache.
Sun's going down like a big bald head, disappearing behind the boulevard. It's Sharky's night. Yeah, it's Sharky's night tonight. And the manager says, Sharky, he's not at his desk right now. Should I take a message? And Sharky says, hey, Kamasabe, long time no see. He says, hey, sport, you connect the dots, you pick up the pieces. He says, you know, I can see two tiny pictures of myself, and there's one in each of your eyes. And they're doing everything I do. Every time I light a cigarette, they light up theirs. I take a drink, and I look again, and they're drinking too. It's driving me crazy. It's driving me nuts. Sharky says, deep in the heart of darkest America, home of the brave, he says, listen to my heartbeat. Paging Mr. Sharky, white courtesy telephone, please.
In 1980, as part of a project called Word of Mouth, I was invited, along with 11 other artists, to go to Ponape, a tiny island in the middle of the Pacific. The idea was that we'd sit around talking for a few days, and then the conversations would be made into a talking record. The first night, we were all really jet-lagged. But as soon as we sat down, the organizers set up all these mics and switched on 1,000-watt light bulbs. And we tried our best to seem as intelligent as possible. Television had just come to Ponape a week before we arrived, and there was a strange excitement around the island as people crowded around the few sets. Then the day after we arrived, in a bizarre replay of the first TV show ever broadcast to Ponape. Prisoners escaped from a jail, broke into the radio station, and murdered the DJ. Then they went off on a rampage through the jungle, armed with lawnmower blades. In all, 4 people were murdered in cold blood. Detectives, flown in from Guam to investigate, swarmed everywhere. At night, we stayed around in our cottages, listening out into the jungle. Finally, the local chief decided to hold a ceremony for the murder victims. The artist Marina Abramovich and I went as representatives of our group to film it. The ceremony was held in a large thatched lean-to, and most of the ceremony involved cooking beans in pits and brewing a dark drink from roots. The smell was overwhelming. Dogs careened around barking, and everybody seemed to be having a fairly good time, as funerals go. After a few hours, Marina and I were presented to the chief, who was sitting on a raised platform above the pits. We'd been told we couldn't turn our backs on the chief at any time or ever be higher than he was. So we scrambled up onto the platform with our film equipment and sort of duck-waddled up backwards to the chief. As a present, I'd brought one of those little Fred Flintstone cameras, the kind where the film canister is also the body of the camera, and I presented it to the chief. He seemed delighted and began to click off pictures. He wasn't advancing the film between shots, but since we were told we shouldn't speak unless spoken to, I wasn't able to inform him that he wasn't going to get 12 pictures, but only one very, very complicated one. After a couple more hours, the chief lifted his hand, and there was absolute silence. All the dogs had suddenly stopped barking. We looked around and saw the dogs. All their throats had been simultaneously cut, and their bodies, still breathing, pierced with rods, were turning on the spits. The chief insisted we join in the meal, but Marina had turned green, and I asked if we could just have ours to go. They carefully wrapped the dogs in leaves, and we carried their bodies away. In 1974, I went to Mexico to visit my brother, who was working as an anthropologist with the Tzotzil Indians, the last surviving Mayan tribe. Now, the Tzotzil speak a lovely bird-like language and are quite tiny physically. I towered over them. Mostly, I spent my days following the women around, since my brother wasn't really allowed to do this. We got up at 3 a.m. and began to separate the corn into 3 colors. Then we boiled it, ran to the mill and back, and finally started to make the tortillas. Now, all the other women's tortillas were 360 degrees, perfectly toasted, perfectly round. And even after a lot of practice, Mine were still lopsided and charred. And when they thought I wasn't looking, they threw them to the dogs. After breakfast, we spent the rest of the day down at the river, watching the goats and braiding and unbraiding each other's hair. So usually, there wasn't that much to report. One day, the women decided to braid my hair tzotzil style. After they did this, I saw my reflection in a puddle. I looked ridiculous. But they said, before we did this, you were ugly. But now, maybe you will find a husband. I lived with them in a yurt, a thatched structure shaped like a cupcake. There's a central fireplace, ringed by sleeping shelves, sort of like a dry beaver dam. Now my tzotzil name was Losha, which loosely translated means the ugly one with the jewels. Now ugly, okay. I was awfully tall by local standards. But what do they mean by the jewels? I didn't find out what this meant until one night when I was taking my contact lenses out. And since I'd lost the case, I was carefully placing them on the sleeping shelf. Suddenly, I noticed that everyone was staring at me. And I realized that none of the tzotzil had ever seen glasses, much less contacts, and that these were the jewels. The transparent, perfectly round jewels that I carefully hid on the shelf at night and then put, for safekeeping, into my eyes every morning. So I may have been ugly, but so what? I had the jewels. Full fathom 5, thy father lies. Of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but that suffers a sea change into something rich and strange. And I alone am left to tell the tale. Call me Ishmael. I come very briefly to this place. I watch it move. I watch it shine.
Yamano, what does she know? Sakebi, what does she know?
They say the dead will rise again. And here they come now, strange animals out of the ice age. And they stare here, dumbfounded, like big mistakes. And we say, keep cool. Maybe if we pretend this never happened, they'll all just go away.
What does she want? So call me, what does she want? I saw me, what touch you?
And yet,
What touch you? Can't go no one.
we could all be
Kotori, what does she know? Sakebi, what does she know?
wouldn't be the first time.
Koyawo, Kumu waku. Yamano, what does she want? So call me, what does she want? Asobo, kumu waku. Yamano, ikumu wa. Kotori, what does she know? Sakebi.
They say the world is small now. Small world. They say that man is taller now. Tall man. They say the stars are closer now. Thank you, lucky stars. You come very briefly to this place. And on a very distant star, slimy creatures scan the sky. They've got plates for hands and telescopes for eyes. And they say, look, down there, a haunted planet spinning round. They say, watch it move, watch it shake, watch it turn and shake. And we say, watch us move, watch us shake. We're so pretty. We're so pretty. We say, watch us move now. Watch us shake.
shake our heads. We shake our feet. We're so fine. The way we move, the way we shake. We're so nice. I wanted you. And I was looking for you. But I couldn't find you. I wanted you. And I was looking for you all day. But I couldn't find you. I couldn't find you. You're walking, and you don't always realize it, but you're always falling. With each step, you fall forward slightly, and then catch yourself from falling. Over and over, you're falling, and then catching yourself from falling. And this is how you can be walking and falling at the same time.
this city, this city, this train, this train.